Hello everyone, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this card making paper crafting tutorial. This is the gorgeous, almost tropical card that we're going to be making today, and it's this one we've got triple layer stamping, as I call it, and it's just a lovely card to say I appreciate you. And this features the Impressions Albloom stamp set from Stampin Up, and it's a layering stamp set, and you'll see how we're going to use that. Now this card we used here is Secret Sea and Pretty Peacock, and you'll see the different colours we've used here. I'm laying them out for you so you can see here. I've got some pretty in pink, some strawberry slush, and some soft sea foam, and some garden green, and blackberry bliss as well, and then petal pink. So those are the colours for that. For this one we're going to be using slightly different. We're going to be using Pretty Peacock, Lost Lagoon, soft sea foam, and Pool Party. So let's start off here. We've got all of our bits. Now I've got 3 layers of basic white, each one's a bit smaller than the other, and I'm just using some repositional adhesive on the back, and I'm going to just layer one on top of the other. I'm not going to give you all the measurements. The measurements will be on the blog post, and you can find the link to that in the description box below, and that will give you all the measurements and all the supply list and everything. So we've got 3 pieces of white here that I've layered up, and they've all got a little border around them. There you go. Give that a good press down, and this is just repositional adhesive. You could use even seal rather, and this is the stamp set called Impressions Albloom. So now I'm trying to decide what colour I want to use, and let's go with this and see. Am I happy? No, I'm not happy, so we're gonna go with this one rather, and there we're gonna go. This is a darker colour. I'm just going to see how it looks. So I'm just lining it up, faffing about with it, as you can see. Yeah, I think that looks okay. So now we can go back. We're going to layer one colour down. You can see here I've got Coastal Cabana. Don't worry if you get sort of imperfect stamping like you just saw there. You can go over it again, but when you layer everything up you won't actually see any of that. So I'm going to go over this again, and because it's a clear stamp you can just look straight through your stamp and line it up and down and give it a good push, and that'll be fine. Right, so I'm going to give that a clean up. We've got 3 of those. I'm going to move on to a smaller flower. So I think I'm going to put my sentiment in here first before I start putting all my flowers down, and then not quite sure where to put my sentiment. So I'm just using my grid paper to get it straight. There we go. And then I'm going to stamp this in Pretty Peacock. Yeah, I stamped that in Pretty Peacock, so that's fine. I'm just looking at the original card, because on the camera seems to sometimes, with the blues especially, seems to do something funny with them. So now I'm going to use Pretty Peacock to add the definition and detail for my flower. So I'm just twisting it around until I've got it in the right orientation, and then we're going to do the same here. And I love this second generation, I love this layering look for the stamp set. So as we call it in Stampin' Up, 2-step stamping, because there is 2 steps to it. And you don't have to be too fussy, try and get them lined up, but it is a sketchy stamp set, so don't worry overly about it. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to a smaller stamp. So I'm going to get a smaller block out, and going to fill in some of these areas. What else? We're going to clean up. and then use the layering bit again. Same colours. I'm keeping to a very tonal look for this card, whereas the other card was much brighter with the pinks and the greens. This one's going to be much more monochromatic, much more tone on tone. So you can see here, just if you're not sure of the orientation, just keep twisting around until, bingo, you found the right way. Really, it just pays to be a little bit patient rather than shooting on ahead. Okay, so now our smallest one, and then we're going to use this as a filler stamp. So you can see here me covering my background with this, and then I'm going to go in with the layering bit. And I'm going to add those little bits, and it really makes a difference adding these layering pieces here. I think it really makes the flowers come alive. And you could use whatever combination you want of colours. So what combination of colours would you use? Let me know in the description box below, because I'd love to know what would float your boat. So now I'm just going to do the flower centres. I'm going to change ink pads for that, so get that closed. And here I'm going to use just some Pool Party. I'm going to just use it for all of these big flower centres. And then I'm going to go back to, I debated whether I'd use Pretty Peacock or I'd use Lost Lagoon, but I went with Pretty Peacock as a layering piece. So let's close that up, and then the last little weedy flower centre here. And don't worry if it looks a bit funny, we've still got the leaves to put in. It's very much, this is very much a stamping card, very stamping intense. And for these centres I'm going to use some Lost Lagoon, as you can see. Lovely. Right, so now I want to fill in with some leaves, because all flowers need a little bit of foliage to set them off. And we've got a lovely little leaf stamp in this set, which will just be brilliant to layer everything up. So let's go in. And now I'm going to stamp with my lighter colour. I think this is Pool Party. Looks like it. And I'm just filling in the areas, trying to remember to change the orientation of my stamp at times so everything doesn't look exactly the same. Yep, that'll be fine. Sometimes it's very difficult to know when to stop. I think that's enough as good as a feast. Right, so last but not least, we're going to add a little layering piece here, so our detail. So let's go around and quickly do that. And of course I sped this video up, so in reality it took a good about half an hour to make this card. But I didn't think you wanted to sit here for half an hour watching me, so I sped it up a bit. There we go. Okay, so very monochromatic, but I still feel to some extent it still has, for some reason, a very tropical vibe. I don't know about you, but I do indeed. Right, clear the decks. Now, our card base here is Pretty Peacock. It's a standard A6 card base. That's an A4 sheet cut in half and then folded in half. Then I've got a piece here of basic white cardstock. This is 14.35 centimeters by 10. It's what I call my standard mat, and it's what I'm going to use for the inside. Now I'm going to start to put down my layer. So my first layer of stamping is going to go straight onto my card base here, like that. Now I've got my second layer of stamping, and I'm going to mat this onto another piece of Pretty Peacock, and just gives it a tiny little border. And I'm going to put this down on top of my first. Make sure you keep everything in the same orientation. Don't lose it, otherwise it will look a bit funny. You want the pattern to match as it goes across the different layers. It's the whole point of the card. You could pop up these layers as well on dimensionals or dimensional foam adhesive sheet or whatever you want to call it, but I chose to just do it flat. Right, so you can see here how the pattern goes across our 3 layers, and any imperfect stamping is hidden by our layering pieces. Isn't that cute? So now I'm just going to use some rhinestones here to give it a little bit of bling here and there and everywhere else. Just decorating it all over the place. So I hope you enjoyed this card. If you have, I'd be grateful if you could give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. As I said, the information you can find for this card will be on the blog post, and the links to that and all my social media links are in the description box below. So there are 2 cards, more of a pink and green and then a bluey tone. Let me know which one you prefer, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye!